Okay, so as I was saying when the last video clip ended, I did update the online gradebook today on Blackboard, so you can check your score there. So what we want to do now is take a look at some of your own responses and look at what was done effectively and where we have some room for improvement. We're not going to look at all of the 10 sentences that you were going to that you were asked to revise, but we're going to look at most of them. Sentence 1 read, "I'm sorry, we don't give cash refunds, you only get store credit." Now, we have an opportunity here, remember, as I was saying in the last video, to stress what can be done. Here was an example of a response that we could probably improve upon. Unfortunately, there's that word again, so be careful of it. Unfortunately, I cannot offer a cash refund. Notice that, I cannot offer. So we've made ourselves a target there. I cannot offer cash refund for this transaction. What I can do, so here we have what we should be emphasizing. What I can do is refund the full amount of your purchase in store credit, which will allow you to buy a different brand of the product, etc., etc. So we start with a negative word choice there, unfortunately. I cannot. So we want to really be careful by putting ourselves too much into the negative frame, because again, I'm going to reemphasize this again, that can make us a target. Let's take a look at another response. Again, the same sentence. I'm sorry, we don't give cash refunds. You only get store credit. So here's another response. I apologize for the inconvenience. So now we're beginning with an apology, and we've informed the recipient of our message that they've been inconvenienced. So that's a negative word choice. But unfortunately, this continues, we do not allow cash refunds for returns. So the words that stand out there as negatively charged are words and phrases. I apologize, inconvenience, unfortunately, we do not allow. The sentence continues, or the student's response continues. We do, however, offer store credit that may be used for your next purchase in our store. When I talked earlier about placement of ideas, being aware of where we place ideas, what's the positive in this response? We do offer store credit. So that's something that we would want to stress in that particular response. Here's another response to sentence 1. Forgive me for the inconvenience. So we have an issue there. So now we're asking for forgiveness because you've been inconvenienced. Your patronage means a lot to us. So that's a good thing. Your patronage is important to us. That would be something we'd want to stress in that response. You are able to receive store credit for your return. So again, that's the emphasis there, what we would want to place the emphasis on. So we start out with a negative. Forgive me for the inconvenience. Then we go to what should be stressed. Your patronage is important to us, and you can receive store credit. So those are the things in that sentence, in that rewrite, that we would want to stress. Here is a response that I thought was particularly well done. In fact, it kind of tickled me when I read it. A store credit is given for refunds, which will make your next shopping trip a little easier on your wallet. I really like that. A store credit is given for refund. So we don't say you can't have this, store policy prohibits us from doing that. You can have store credit, and that'll make your next shopping trip a little bit easier on your wallet. So very good response there. I really enjoyed that response. Let's look at sentence 2. You can't go on break until your work is finished. How about that? Okay. So one of the things, again, that I want to emphasize is we want to stress the positive. We always want to stress what can be done. And when we get to chapter 6 on negative messages, that's going to be called the constructive follow-up. So when we have a negative message to communicate, the constructive follow-up shows us what can be done. Now that's solely for communicating negative messages when there's no way around communicating them. So sentence 2 read, you can't go on break until your work is finished. Here was a particularly effective you-viewpoint response. This student writes, wow, Your report is nearly finished. Since you only have a few minor changes to make, would you please submit it to Joe before you go on your break? Now notice how that student worded that sentence. This was very deftly done, very well done. So we start by acknowledging how much the employee's done. Wow, your report's nearly finished. Since there are only a few minor changes to make, so we acknowledge that there's still something to be done, but it's not worded negatively, would you please submit it to Joe before you go on your break? So then we acknowledge the end of that sentence, that it's time for the employee to go on break. So very well done there. I liked this response. I thought this one was particularly well done in response to sentence 2 as well. So again, the original sentence was, you can't go on break until your work is finished. This student writes, bagels and coffee are available in the break room once all work is completed. Very well done. Again, bagels and coffee are available in the break room once all work is completed. So this response, very you-viewpoint response, it acknowledges the need to finish the work and then offers really a nice invitation to the employee once the work is completed. Let's take a look at sentence 4. Sentence 4 read, we have received your order and a check for the amount you owe us for the merchandise. Now that's not very you-viewpoint, is it? The amount you owe us. Nobody likes to be reminded that they owe anybody anything, even when they do. This student wrote, thank you for your payment. Your order has been processed successfully, and your merchandise will arrive within 7 business days. And that's really all the consumer wants to hear, isn't it? Thank you for your payment. Your order has been processed successfully, and your merchandise will arrive within 7 business days. Very well done. Very you-viewpoint. Sentence 5 seemed to cause a lot of you trouble. It said, sentence 5 said, what did you do to this CD player? So it's kind of accusatory there in its tone, isn't it? That's the tone. I'll have to charge you at least $25 to repair it. It could be as much as $50. Now, here we have a student who wrote, unfortunately, there's that word again, you returned the CD player damaged, and our company policy states you will have to pay for the damages. Usually it would cost $50, but since the damage isn't that bad, it will only cost $25. What would we want to stress there? The fact that the charge would be as minimal as $25 and that it can be repaired? So negative word choices here. Unfortunately, the player is damaged. You will have to pay for those damages. Okay, so not a real effective response there in terms of you-viewpoint communication. Let's look at sentence 7. Your request for a promotion is denied. Talk to me again next month because I really cannot discuss it with you right now. Not you-viewpoint communication, the original. This student wrote, you are a valued member of this organization. Very well done. That builds goodwill. Your request for a promotion has been reviewed, so we're acknowledging that we've acknowledged something that the recipient of this message has done. And I want to sit down with you to explain the results. Very good. That's a constructive follow-up. Let's schedule a time that's convenient. Very well done. Let's look at sentence 9. Make no mistakes. The report must be completely accurate. Now notice we begin with what's almost an accusation. Make no mistakes. That almost in tone implies you're prone to making mistakes, or there have been mistakes in the past. And that doesn't frame our communication in terms of goodwill, does it? So this student wrote, please be sure to review the report for completeness and accuracy. Again, please be sure to review the report for completeness and accuracy. Very good response. It's a very fair request, straightforward, also you-viewpoint.